Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I have been thinking about this, and I'm pretty certain that the logistical bottleneck here, the ports in Senegal, that will go up. So we're going to continue to go up there, but I'm virtually certain that our bottleneck in Senegal, being our infrastructure in our capital, which can't go any higher, means that we're going to have an incoming cap here of 200. I'm like 96% sure of that. So that's what I'm assuming for now, and that means that we're not going to be able to supply any additional forces in this region. It's just not going to happen. However, we do have two extra armies. This one here, which I'm going to pull out of this army group for now, and this one here, which I'm also going to pull out of this army group for now. So with those out of the army group, the question now becomes, what are we going to do with them? And the answer is, if we can only have 215-ish supply in this supply area, that means we have to open up another front. There's no way I don't think that we can punch through this as is, although we'll get to some optimizations we can make here. But I kind of want to start another naval invasion, maybe in this region, and perhaps in this region. And what we need is enough time to establish our own dockheads, or our own beachheads, right? Because if we build the naval bases, we can build them in about a month. I'm betting that the majority of Brazil's forces is here. I don't know how many they'll be able to respond to us with, but I'm going to tell this army here to begin a naval invasion. Yep, that's completely fine. And I want to target these two. I would like to actually toss in... Oh, is it from the initial order point? Okay, so it would be something like this. This would be a fine naval invasion, I think. If we can grab this naval base, that's fantastic. But if we can't, well, it'll just have to be what it is. So for now, we're going to put a naval invasion order in for this force as well, which is not full strength. And that is noted. And we're going to target probably something like that. Now, we're just going to let that prepare. We're not going to be rushing into that anytime soon. I did realize, however, in between episodes, if we go into our production here, that we're still working on transport planes, and we don't actually need any of those. Let's work on some close air support instead. We're also currently working on Tactical Bomber 3s. I'm actually going to switch to Jet Tactical Bomber 2s while we're at it. Excellent. I'm going to let this tick forward just a little bit here. I expect this to be a bit of a stalemate, especially as we continue fortifying. Are we done fortifying? No, we're not. But we're actually not working on it. Let's prioritize that a bit more, because we know we're not going to be able to really get the supply up here beyond about 200. It'll be a little over 200. That's got that local 12, so that'll be fine. I also want to start working on breaking Brazil's cipher. I read in the pop-ups when they broke our cipher a while back that gives them a combat bonus against us. I would like to have that combat bonus against them. I'm also going to have this guy switch off of counter intel, and I'm going to have him root out resistance in this area. And I'm going to have this guy work on building an intel network in Brazil. Hopefully, we can get some intel on where any of their other troops other than on this border are. Hopefully. We'll see if we can. So let's go ahead and tick forward for now, although there's actually one more thing I want to do before we really start ticking forward, and that is that I would like to develop these strip iron ore deposits. Because we need more steel. There's no doubt about that. We are really suffering on the steel and chromium for right now. Honestly, though, I think we might be overdoing it a little bit on our modern tank production. So I'm going to ditch this line of modern tank production. We're going to have 2 lines of modern tanks and 1 line of modern tank destroyers. That does mean we've got some free military factories. That's fine. We may actually want to bump up our amount of support equipment. That might not be a bad thing to get. And we now do have some close air support, so that's great. I want to toss in... Let's see. I want to toss in a fair amount of bombers, specifically jet tactical bombers, over here. And I want there to be about 1,000 of these. I want to bump our jet fighters up to 1,000 as well. Just max out this airbase. And I want these guys to be focused on strategic bombing in the Brazil node. Excellent. Now this airplane here, we currently have jet fighters that are focused on air superiority, and that's fine. They're actually also on interception. Okay, now they're not. But instead of putting bombers here, I actually want to put in close air support. Like so. And then we can bump that up to here. Excellent. And we will have those set to close air support. No, you guys should still be on air superiority up here. There you go. These guys should be on close air support over here. And I would like to attach the air wings to... Which of these armies is the one that's over here? That is Army 11. Because I want to continue taking coastline as the top priority. So I want to attach that close air support wing from here to Army 11. Excellent. That will hopefully help. We'll see how helpful it actually is, though. So that's good. How long on these guys? Yeah, that's still going to be quite a while. I'm not concerned about that. Besides, we need to get more divisions in here. Now, we are recruiting some. It will take some time to get that done. And that's okay. I'm fine with waiting on that, honestly. I'm going to, however, toss in a line of Marine divisions, and in fact, we are going to add 2 divisions of Marine divisions. And we'll just get that underway. We don't have a location chosen for that. You know what? Let's just have that location be right over here. Fantastic. I do want to check in on our Navy here. Okay. Now, I think we're currently suffering quite a lot with our Navy from lack of steel. And chromium, for that matter. Yeah, we're suffering tremendously from lack of steel and chromium. Noted. I'm actually going to cut this modern tank production line, I think. There we go. And this is tungsten and steel, so that's not too useful. I want to produce something that doesn't require tungsten and steel, if at all possible. Or that doesn't require chromium and steel. Now, planes are a good option for that. We could potentially start producing... These are already carrier fighters. We could start producing carrier naval bombers, however. Something along the lines of that. Okay. So that has definitely changed around our chromium. We're still lacking a ton of steel. We're lacking a little bit of tungsten, but we can actually handle that, no problem. Same with the rubber. Steel-wise, I mean, we can try to get some here. But there's just not very much steel available. So yeah, I think we're just going to struggle with that. I do think at this point that I'm interested in cutting our number of destroyers that are being made. So let's actually cancel this production line. There we go. And I'm also interested in cutting our number of carriers and battleships, I think. We'll cut this down to 3 lines of carriers being made. And one... We'll get this to 4. That seems okay. We're still lacking in some submarines. There's no doubt about that. And we have some free dockyards. Okay, that's fine. If we had the steel, we would definitely put those dockyards to work. But that is fine. So how are we doing on our steel at this point? That's much better. That is much better. Fantastic. Now, those invasions are going to take a while to be prepared. There's no doubt about that. But I have a sneaking suspicion with our fort level in these regions, they're going to have a hard time pushing into us, especially as our supply comes up. Our current bottleneck is still our ports in Senegal, but that should be finishing up, honestly, in just 6 days. That should no longer be our bottleneck. Well, actually, that will still be our bottleneck, won't it? That's 147, not 200. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's paratroopers finishing up. And let's go ahead and research something. But what? Well, that is the question, isn't it? Logistics companies. Reduce supply usage. That seems like a thing I should have realized a long time ago. Okay. We're going to get that, and we're going to deploy those straight into this final slot that we have for all of our divisions, for our support slots. I'm 100% okay with that. We do have some unassigned divisions. We are, of course, going to toss those into this naval invasion. I can't help but notice that you're not moving. Why don't you come on over here, buddy? Fantastic. Yeah, everybody should be on their way over. Good. I am kind of interested in testing how strong they are here, but I think the answer to that is reasonably. I did a little bit of Speed 5 simulation on that and wasn't really able to get anywhere. What we ended up doing was just damaging the infrastructure in this state and hurting our own supplies when we attacked here. So I really, really think that we want to open up additional fronts on the Brazil coast. That is the overall idea here. Flying Fortress will be finishing up momentarily. And I'd love to be producing additional submarines through our dockyards. We just do not have the steel. So that's okay. We are getting quite a number of submarines. Oh, there's 4 destroyers here. I'm going to cut that down to 2 destroyers. I did not realize that those were there. That'll get us additional submarine production, which I'm still very, very interested in. Okay. Let's grab anything. We're starting to run out of things that we can research. There's no doubt about that. I do think that having Carrier Bomber 3 is already researched. That is fine then. Everything here should be researched. Yes, indeed. We may want to switch our land doctrine, though. I haven't really looked at that. At least since I've started working on the logistics. Defense and organization, breakthrough and soft attack. There's assault and infiltration here. Supply consumption reduction. I like that. I certainly like that. Okay. Let's start making our way down this way. Fantastic. Supply reduction seems good. Other things that seem good is increasing the amount of iron that we're getting, but I think, yeah, we can't do any more of that for right now. We're going to continue working on that for a little bit. I can't help but notice that the Netherlands is grouping up over here. I wonder if they're planning a naval invasion of their own. It'd be kind of awkward if they were. But it would not be the worst thing. We're definitely kind of slow on this training. There's no doubt about that. And I believe the smaller number of troops here is the reason why this invasion only takes 49 days as opposed to 84. That is my guess, anyway. So let's check in on our supplies over here. We're currently getting 186, with our bottleneck being our ports in Senegal, still, which is 174. Now, those are being constructed, and honestly, this will give it another 3 throughput here. Yeah, 177. So we only need 11 more levels of naval dockyard, which of course means that what we've got here is pretty overkill. There's no doubt about that. So that's a thing. At any rate, I think it's fine. We're probably going to want to consider building additional dockyards in some of these other supply regions. Like, honestly, I kind of just want to build dockyards all up this coast. Mostly because I have a suspicion. I don't know if it's true or not, and I'm not really going to go too in-depth on what I suspect until I know that it's true. But I want some kind of low-priority naval bases in all of these regions here, just so that we can definitely get some supplies out there. The suspicion that I have, and I have no idea if this is true or not, is that the 200 supplies bottleneck limits for all of the regions that are being supplied from a certain supply region via Navy. That is my suspicion. I don't know that that's the case, but if we were to open up another front here and here, my suspicion is that we would receive 200 supplies spread across all 3. We'll find out if that's the case or not. But I'd prefer to have some low priority shipyards queued up so that we already have some progress being made on that. I think they're higher priority than these military factories, though. And certainly higher than these anti-air guns. That's for sure. So that'll take some time to get through that, but that's okay. I'm not concerned. Excellent. How are we doing on our preparations? We're making progress. It will be a little while before that's done, but our logistics here is definitely improving. We are currently up to 180 at our bottleneck, so that's good. That means we have completed another one, and we're about to finish another batch of them. It's now 186. And there we go. Infrastructure in our capital, 200 is our bottleneck. Now, if we go over to our capital, which is right here, we're currently maxed out with infrastructure. I'm not sure what this 250 up here is. I have no idea what that is. Regardless, getting some reduction to our supply needs will go a very long ways for us. So that'll be good. Like, even just a 10% reduction is going to get us down here by 20 supply. Now, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. How are we doing on our air superiority over Brazil anyway? Aircraft detection total, 56%. Okay. Our strategic bombing is going reasonably well. Our close air support is not. Actually, I am going to put in ground crews here. We're capped on command power, I think, anyway, or we were. We could put in some radar down here, I suppose. That is something that we could do. Something kind of like that. And we could also... Ah, right. I think up here... What is the actual range of radar? I'm going to cancel both of those. And... Is this indicative of the range, or is this just... I have no idea. Allows you to gain intel on enemy troops in nearby states. A higher radar level in the state increases the effective range of the radar. Radar also provides the state with better detection of enemy air forces. Okay, so we're going to put, then, radar back here, where it's a little bit safer, and I think we're going to put anti-air up front. Oh, we already have maximum anti-air in both of these. Is that a different thing? Let's see. Yeah, we already have maximum anti-air in both of these. So they do not, in fact, share slots like I was thinking they do. So we will go ahead and put radar up here. Wonderful. And I think we'll actually prioritize that radar a little bit. That'll be fine. Excellent. So I feel like we're getting relatively entrenched over here. And I also feel like we should... Oh, we should probably get a research over here going. That is maybe something we should do. I'm going to start working on Field Hospital too, even though we're not using Field Hospital. You never know, I might decide to switch. There's advanced rocket engines. Let's grab advanced centrometric radar. Excellent. Enables another level of state radar. Fine. We'll be able to get that building just as soon as we can. But for now, we can't really do that. We should probably expand these tungsten deposits, though, because we're trading for tungsten, aren't we? Yeah, we should definitely expand those. Fantastic. So, I mean, we're still waiting on these guys to finish their preparations. And we're also waiting on additional troops for these. We're not going to go until these have been recruited. So that'll be fine. They'll be recruited eventually. But now is not that time. We're 127 days, 126 days away from decrypting the enemy's cipher. So we're going to wait on that too, for sure. How are we doing on our recruitments? Okay. 40% will be done well before then. So that would be an additional 8 troops. So that would bring us... We actually need 11 troops, I think? No, we need 10. We need 10 troops here. That's right. So we need 10 units. We're going to have 8. We may want to do an early deploy, but I don't like doing that, if at all possible. Advanced oil processing is finished up. That's good. We'll go ahead and grab modern oil processing. Got to make sure that we have plenty of fuel, after all. Our logistics company will be done in 72 days, and I'm interested in looking into this because 10% supply usage reduction. This is an additional 10%? Is that what's going on here? Or only the logistics company's supply usage? If this is a 40% supply reduction, then yeah, I should definitely have gotten this a lot earlier. Especially when you combine that with the land doctrine infiltration over here. And that gives a 50% reduction. In theory, with that, we should be fully capable of putting additional troops over here. Like, essentially double this quantity of troops. So that is something to look forward to, for sure. For now, though, it is time to put a cut in here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, some of these plans are going to hopefully begin to come to fruition. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.